oZER0, back to Ukraine and Moldova in 2024. Chapter 1, ПОВЕРНЕННЯ, Return. And before starting, a series of disclaimers. Please take your time and read them. Thank you. A special disclaimer now about reporting and vlogging in Ukraine during martial law. In case you want to see the whole article, please check the link down below. And lastly, a special disclaimer before certain criticism concerning the topics I will talk about. And well, here's a quick animation of all the places I've been to in this video. Several events in my past brought me to Ukraine, a country where I know a lot of people and I can say most of them are my friends. A place where I had the chance to explore several places within the country. And the last time I tried to come back basically was during pandemic, so I couldn't come back. The last time I actually was there was in 2019. As you might see by this series of videos, this was the time for me to return to Ukraine, against many people's recommendation. This was the time for me to wake up early in Kraków, the city where I live, and get to the railway station. The first train to the border, aka the Polish city of Przemyśl, is at 6 AM. That means that I had to wake up at 5, drop my home keys to a friend at 5:30, and then get to a railway station. The train from Kraków to Przemyśl actually is quite chill and easy, but I couldn't sleep that much. The new thing with respect to the past is that right now, in this railway station of Przemyśl, you have a separated track for the train heading to Ukraine. This means that, with respect to the past occasion I used the same train, I had to go to a different track, have passport control, and catch a narrow coincidence to get to the train heading to Lviv. This is the railway station of Lviv, a place I've been before, a place I know very well. From the railway station to get to the center is just a matter of a tram away. The first mandatory stop in Lviv, of course, is the National Opera Theatre. This place is so wonderful and so meaningful to the city of Lviv that for sure there are poems about it. The second mandatory stop, also on the way to my hotel, was of course the Rynok, the main square of Lviv. To my own surprise, actually not all monuments were covered with protections to avoid bombing, but some of those weren't. Aside from this curious rest of Russian missile used as a statue, the center of Lviv offers always very nice spots, like the so-called beer belly of Ukraine, or the main building of a municipality. Later on, I left the main square to get to the Ivan Franko National University of Lviv and to check on the Ivan Franko monument, the famous Ukrainian writer. Later on, I walked through the Ivan Franko Park and walked to the St. George's Cathedral, where you can see the most of statues being covered. After that, it was time to catch up with a beer in the center with my friend Ruslan. The very next day, I had a brunch with my friend Roma, which later on provided me a quick city tour. The first main destination were the gates of Struitsky Park in Parkova Street. Park, both in the lower and upper side, actually have nice statues and the pavilions of an 1894 exhibition of Galicia. My main goal, which I asked Roma and I thank Roma for, was to go to the Crossword building, which is very close to the Struitsky Park. I won't lie, out of this experience and return back to Lviv, this was one of the places I wanted to go the most. The last part of this mini city tour include a visit of Ivan Franko house in wonderful Sofivka district, a view to a church, and a view to some nice palaces. Concluding this mini city tour, by the way, I really wish Roma that you'll become Ivan Franko's neighbor and take over the house in front of his house. I embarked on a long one, to the Likachev Monumental Cemetery of Lviv, a place where I've been 9 years ago and which I still adore. As you can see by the previous images, you can actually witness there the tomb of Maria Kolomyia and also of Stefan Banach. People who actually you can admire also in Kraków, that's why we have a comparison. After that, I decided to keep on exploring the Likachev Monumental Cemetery, but some of the other places you will see in the second video. Later on, I took a tram from the same cemetery and went up to the hills. Lviv from above is freaking wonderful, but too bad that actually I couldn't get back to the Olyadowy Maidanchik a place which, again, I was in the past, as you can see in the next picture. But it was time for me to get a bit downhill and go back to the center, where actually another walk with Ruslan was waiting for me. I'll be quick to say that, again, I'm aware that this person might be controversial, but it's not the first person who has a controversial past, which I see a monument of. So just keep this in mind. Even in my city, there's a guy who's retained controversial by certain people. And yeah, still I live here and still I don't freak out. So also you, don't freak out. It would be great for yourself. After that, we saw the Catholic Church of Saint Olia and Elizabeth, and we went back to the center for another beer. The very next morning, actually, I took a boat to get outside of Lviv and to get to the village of Hodovytsya, where is the abandoned Church of All Saints, a place which intrigued me as I saw in some online guides. Sadly, this place is open just from 3 to 3:30 p.m. of every Sunday. On demand, you have to ask to the local priest. After having this tiny disappointment, I went back to Lviv, but to a very specific place I'd never been before, which is next to the Znesinnya Landscape Park, and actually is a abandoned railway, because yeah, I actually wanted to have a tiny bit of adventure in Lviv that day. This abandoned railway passes through the city, some bridges, and you're basically in the middle of nature, but also surrounded by civilization.
Completely abandoned railway, civilization. Completely abandoned railway, civilization. Va te che bellezza. Continuiamo a seguire questa ferrovia abbandonata, vediamo dove ci porta. Completely abandoned railway, civilization. Completely abandoned railway, civilization. Oh my god, so bad, but I think it's also because of a condition of a structure. It doesn't look very well. And I guess I have to go down from here. Whatever. Let's try. See, Lviv have a lot of hidden gems. Let's go this way.
Later on, I've been to the district of Kyїv in Lviv, where my friend Ruslan lives into, and I actually had a chance to see this church blessed by Pope John Paul II back then in time, also to see a memorial monument to Chernobyl, and also to see this wooden church of the Holy Trinity. The very next day, I went to the railway station where I actually rented a car, and following the steps of this 2005 movie called Everything is Illuminated, oh, by the way, it contains a lot of things which age terribly, just for your own information, I decided to embark on a car trip to the first destination of the day, which was the village of Trachimbrod, as you can see right now.
Saluti dall'Ucraina occidentale, ho detto bene.
Like the main characters of the movie, I embarked on a trip to find out where this village is. Of course, like them, I had GPS and Google Maps, but despite that, actually it wasn't that easy to find it out. And even in the point which was pointing out to be Trachimbrod, this was the result.
So, the village was here. And it was wiped out, and now it's just an agricultural field.
Despite that, the stone pointing out where Trachimbrod is still there. Am I that during the Second Polish Republic, the name of Trachimbrod actually was Sufiówka, was wiped out by real Nazis during Second World War. But that destination actually is a classic, a place where I've been before, and actually is in the Rivne Oblast. The Tunel Kokhannia, or Tunnel of Love, actually is both an hidden gem and also a mainstream place in Ukraine, after so many international articles and photo shoots have been done here. As I said before, this place in Klevan, actually for me, is just a part of places I want to return, because I was here in 2015 before. And despite being an attraction, actually the railway is still active, twice or 3 times a day. The optical illusion to be in a tunnel made by trees actually disappears after you start walking onto it, but on the horizon, the sort of like tunnel/portico actually makes it wonderful. And yeah, that was the time for me to repeat my ridiculous feat I did in 2015 on trying to do a high jump. One thing I can definitely say is that I had much more hair, and yeah, that's a pity, I'm not having them any longer. The third destination of the day was also another return to the city of Rivne, just for a quick stop because I actually was very hungry, so I actually needed to fill up my stomach a bit before having a long drive to my destination of the day, Kam'yanets Podilskyi. After a long rainy drive also through the city of Ternopil, I arrived in Kam'yanets Podilskyi after the sunset, just to get ready to get chill, buy something in a store, and go back to my room to watch Inter winning the second star or the 20th Scudetto. The very next day after the celebration of the night before, I actually woke up very early to get to the Bakota Bay, and oh my god, this place on the Dniester River is so freaking wonderful. And yeah, of course, I mean, there's no visit to any wonderful place without me doing this stupid pose. Then it was time to go back to Kam'yanets Podilskyi and finally visit the medieval castle. A castle made by Polish people when, during the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth were occupying this area. I checked the line, I guess this is the best place to take a picture with you in the castle. Don't want to have a negative bash, but the castle per se inside is very nice. It doesn't have so many special features, but yeah, it looks like a regular castle. There is this tiny exhibition you'll see. You have a chance to get high to the towers, see the walls. Yeah, but nothing that much. You have a chance to get high to these passages. Later on, you will see me get high to some towers, passing through some passages. But yeah, again, not to bash, but there's nothing that much more to see or do there.
It's really nice.
But still, it's very nice. I mean, for a city from outside, it looks wonderful. Inside, yeah, there's not too many things to do, but still recommended to go. And yeah, I was still so satisfied to have gone there. And now I'll let you enjoy for a while the view from a castle. After having left the castle, for me it was time to go back onto my driving mode because I had to leave the car in Lviv by 8 p.m. And in between that, I had to go through several locations. I don't want to be extremely trivial, but if there's one thing that I adore about Ukraine, are the landscapes of rural Ukraine.
It might be stereotypical, but having a flag designed by flowers and plants and the sky is fucking amazing. Not by the car, but by this.
And well, on the way to the next destination, I luckily had to pass through a place which I've been in the past, which I adore, and which I will not disclose, so I'll keep it for me. But yeah, this place is always amazing.
Yeah.
Actually, I had like a quick stop in a surprise place, but since I know a person actually is originally from there, I said like, okay, yeah, let's just go there and see. And yeah, I actually visited the town of Kolomyia in this way. Of course, I couldn't avoid to get to the Pisanka Museum, a place which contains 10,000 decorated Easter eggs. I have to admit, quick stop, but it was extremely worthwhile. And yeah, second last stop for the day, and I was heading to the city of Ivano-Franco. Not Lviv, actually it's Ivano-Frankivsk. In Ivano-Frankivsk, my goal was actually to meet a friend of mine called Oksana, and yeah, we met by this fountain. After a quick lunch and almost spill out cappuccino to go, it was time for me to go back on the road. But thanks, Oksana, for a quick reunion. It was nice to meet you again. And yeah, of course, Ivano-Frankivsk also was nice, so also another worthwhile visit. But yeah, again, as I said before, it was time for me to take the road again. I had a car to get back to Lviv station by 8 p.m. and I couldn't miss this time. It's the same bridge of Sunday. Later at night, I had a night train to catch to a city I adore.
But, well.
And of course, the train was to Kyїv, the capital of Ukraine, a city I've been missing for 6 years, and a city I wanted to go back to. For these days, I will be hosted by my friend Lisa. Thank you so much, Lisa. It was gonna be one of the first times I will tell you thank you, and it won't be probably enough. When we left the apartment, the first thing I saw were the Trachimbrod Park and the National University. After that, there was the nearby St. Volodymyr's Cathedral, and of course, the National Opera of Ukraine. I proceeded till the Zloty Bolota, or the Golden Gate of Kyїv. Very wonderful place. I've been there inside years ago. A few hundred meters onwards, actually been again to the St. Sophia's Cathedral. Wonderful place. I haven't entered to any of the churches, but actually I should have entered because it was raining like hell. Talking about new things I haven't seen in the past, the glass bridge, or the bridge over the St. Volodymyr's descent is a place I've never been in the past just because it was inaugurated just at the end of May 2019. And yeah, about this arch, probably we'll talk about in the second video. Anyway, after a quick view on the Dnipro, it was time for me to get over there. As much as I adore being back to Maidan Nezalezhnosti, this time it hit different, very different, for obvious reasons. After a welcoming quick stop to Pusata Hata for lunch, it was time for me to hit the metro. And especially hitting the deepest metro station in the world. A must-do thing for the day, despite the weather, was to also pass through the Monument of a Known Soldier and the Holodomor Genocide Memorial. A must-do feat in this area of Kyïv, of course, is the Lavra, the Cathedral Orthodox, the main Cathedral Orthodox in all of Ukraine, not only in Kyïv. A place I've been before, and a place I had luck in the past to be to also the caves. But yeah, this time actually the caves weren't open. And of course, after this religious break and this moment of silence, the obvious next destination was to get to the Ukrainian Mausoleum Monument. A newly improved one, because the last time there was still the previous logo. Well, I guess this doesn't need any translation. Of course, before approaching the Ukrainian Mausoleum Monument, I actually had to pass through this field of military equipment which is next to it and just take a quick look. This monument I've been before in the past actually is just 33 years old. It has been inaugurated in 1981, is 62 meters tall, and yeah, obviously right now the shield of this titanium statue actually doesn't have any longer the hammer and sickle emblem, but actually have the trizib emblem, which is part of the Ukrainian coat of arms. One thing that actually hasn't changed though is the memorial complex dedicated to the Second World War. As you can see, the monument of crossing the Dnipro River as well as the alley of the hero cities are still there. Another thing which I had a chance to see in the past, and sadly I still here, are these tanks, which are representing not only a symbolism to the current war in Ukraine and the full-scale invasion from Russia, but also as evidences too. Of course, I couldn't stay there the whole day, and another reason to not staying there that much was also trying to get to another monument I really like in Kyiv. But sadly, my beloved monument of the founders of Kyiv was under protection, so I couldn't see it. Disappointed, I actually turned my attention onto the Dnipro.
Bravo. Bravo. Bello lungo. Quack. Quack, quack, quack. Quack.
Considering that the weather wasn't improving that much, I decided to go to the nearby metro station called Dnipro. Yeah, Dnipro 2. And the obvious destination for me was to get to Podil, possibly one of the most beautiful looking districts in all of Kyiv, and home of one of my favorite roads in the whole town, which is Kontraktova. And contrary to any logic, and considering the weather and the fact I have to go up on cobbles, which were wet, I decided to climb up to the St. Andrew's Church. But well, it wasn't the best idea ever. The only reason which made the whole climb up to St. Andrew's Church on a slippery cobbles on an ascent which is very steep is just to take a look at this gorgeous church, one of the most beautiful looking church in the whole world. As you can see by these images, now it was the end of the day, and from now on you will see just random images taken in Kyiv during the next days. These images were actually taken on 27th of April, a day where I actually met for lunch my friend Oksana at a Crimean restaurant. That afternoon after the lunch and the meeting with Oksana, I actually had no big plans, so I just tried to roam around and go see places or things I haven't seen before. Mandatory was to greet the legend Valery Lobanovsky. About Visage again I will tell you later. And since I had no plans nor clue of what to do, I decided to walk by the Dnipro River. I guess it should be like a hidden motto for basically tourists or people who just want to go chill in Kyiv. You don't know what to do, just go walk by there. It will be fun.
Try harder. Come on, you can do it. Good strategy. Come on, come on, come on. Bravo, Perotto. Quack, quack, quack.
And as much as I can't decant the beauty of River Dnipro in Kyiv, I actually had in 40 minutes a meeting with my friend Eugenia for a pho. So yeah, I couldn't miss on that, and I had to catch a bolt. I retain to be a person who actually have a deep connection with places. And honestly, while looking for a proper ending to this video, which I denominated to be Return, ПОВЕРНЕННЯ, I thought about how better chance I had to conclude this video. And I thought about some of the places I like the most. The first one was, of course, Podil and Kontraktova Street. Then, like many years ago, I took again the funicular to go up. Then finally had a chance to see again, but with a son, of course, St. Michael's Golden Dome Church. And after being passed by the building of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, I decided to go to the Children's Landscape Park, and especially to the Cat's Wall, a place I adored in the past, I retain funny, and I just adore. And to try to recreate the same picture I took years ago. To conclude, despite the time being a first reason out of the many questions you might have about this trip or me, this all return, the meetings, the good old things and the good new ones were not a sort of nostalgia act. It was an answer to something deeper I have, both mentally and psychologically, a challenge many people will not probably understand, and probably I will understand a day in a full picture on my own too. In any case, see you all after the victory.